5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
What we do here is go back.
Hello everybody, this is Steven Jensen with Jessi Davin, another live chat. Hope everyone's having a good day. We're going to be talking AJ Styles making it into the Money in the Bank match. We're going to be talking Raw reactions. We're talking Roman Reigns. A lot of people are talking about Roman Reigns being edited out of some stuff that WWE put out yesterday. Before we get started, Jessi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I accidentally called my cat a bitch this morning because I thought she was a home invader. So it's been a crazy morning.
Hell yeah.
Well, she was using her. I was in here getting ready for this, and I heard the litter. I didn't know it was a litter box, and my daughter was at preschool. She's at preschool right now, and my husband was taking her there, and I heard some noises, and I wasn't sure what it was, and I was like, "Get the F out of my house, bitch!" I was like, "If you're there." And then I walked out, there's my cat. and so I apologize. So
So you
that's how my
apologize.
morning.
So you apologize to your cat. So
Yes, I apologize to my cat who does not know English for calling her a bitch. So that's how my morning's gone. How's your morning?
my morning's been good. Been good.
Good.
I was planning on doing a little boxing today, but I think I'm gonna take the day off. Go on Thursday instead. Yeah, I was telling you before we got streaming. I'm pretty much the only plans I have today is at some point I gotta run over to Michael's and buy more. Basically, essentially, to make a long story short, buy more shelves and display space for all the memorabilia that I've collected over the years when it comes to wrestling and MMA. And I got a lot of baseball stuff in here too, a lot of football stuff, like just sports stuff in general. So, yeah, I'm gonna keep working on my office today probably. But outside of that, there's really yeah, just another chill day. Got my windows open. Hopefully that isn't too annoying. I can always close them.
I love the birds. It's such a beautiful aesthetic.
Thanks. Yeah, I like it too. I just hope it isn't annoying to anybody. As long as if it is, let me know in the chat. And I can always close my windows. But it's a nice day outside. So
Who doesn't love birds?
right.
Well, I guess if you've seen that Alfred Hitchcock movie, then it's kind of spooky.
Yeah, that stuff's kind of scary. I always think about like Always Sunny. How I always call D.
Yes. Everyone thinks I look like Sweet D.
That's a compliment though. Like Caitlin Olsen,
Yeah.
very good look.
She's beautiful.
She's hilarious.
Yeah. She is funny as hell. I get the same energy I get. But if I can look like her when I'm her age, she's a little bit older than me. Not that much, but or, I don't know. But if I can look like her, I would be so happy. Anyways, that's fine. Anyway.
Corey said I heard chirping. No worries. I'm a huge Raven fan. Yeah.
That's good.
Thanks for joining us again today, Corey. Thanks for joining us, Julian, Christopher, Terrell.
Oh, Christopher. Hi, Christopher. And I think I saw Jay in the chat, Jay Jeezy or something. Where's he at? Oh, he was here. Yeah, Jay Jeezy's in here. Everybody's in here. Love
Yeah.
it.
Awesome. Yeah, if I'm missing, or if both of us, miss stuff in the chat, we apologize in advance. But to know for sure that you will be featured on the show and that we're going to dive deep on your question, comment, statement, whatever it is, just send us a super chat. We don't care what the amount is, but your question, comment, statement will be prioritized, and we'll make sure that, like I said, we'll dive deep on whatever that topic is. We'll kind of drop whatever we're talking about at the time and talk about that. Or obviously, if we're already talking about that subject, if you want to interject and contribute to that conversation, that's also a good time to send a super chat. I'll also take the time real quick to just remind everyone to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Because me and Jesse do these so randomly that we always put links up on our social media, but like if you're subscribed, that's probably the best way of being notified. And you also get recognition up on our screen as being a new subscriber. We got a little graphic that pops up there for you. That all being said, what do you want to start with? You want to talk AJ Styles?
Yeah, let's talk AJ Styles first, and then we'll get into kind of our theories on why Roman Reigns has been deleted to pull a broken universe kind of thing out of the WrestleMania footage. If you guys want to put your theories in the chat, give a super chat, give us your theories, let us know. But we'll kind of give both of our general consensus as to what's going on there. But I think we should probably start with what happened last night on Raw. If you want to start with that.
Yeah, let me pull this up here. So this is AJ. The big news coming out of Raw last night is that AJ Styles, of course, win that gauntlet match to get a shot, or to be a part of the the Money in the Bank ladder match, and that is in replacement of Apollo Crews, who I don't know if he's injured for real or if he needs to stay home with like his family, or like I don't know what the actual reasons are that he was pulled from that match. But I will say the match itself. Here we go. The match itself I thought was really good.
Yeah.
I was kind of like half paying attention when I turned it on. There's this game I've been playing on Switch I was telling you about that that I don't even know what it's called anymore. It's like this army man looking first person shooter game. It's a lot of fun though. It's like something unboxed. I can't remember what it's called.
That's
playing
right.
the heck out of it.
It looks really fun though.
And I was kind of like playing that and watching Raw, and like once this match got rolling, like during Carrillo and
Garza.
I paused my game and like started paying like sole attention to Raw because those two guys are so good. Like I'm a real big fan of both of them. So I thought the match was really good, and I think the right person won at the end of the day. Like AJ Styles needs to be doing something.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on all this?
I thought it was I love me a good gauntlet match. I think they're great. I think they're fun. It was kind of shocking for me to see Humberto Carrillo kind of go over Angel Garza. Like that was kind of weird to me. But in the end, it worked really well. I do think the right guy won. I thought that. See, I was fully expecting Jinder Mahal to be the person to replace Apollo Crews. It was Apollo Crews, right? You got
Yeah.
Okay,
And I
was
had called
making sure.
Jeff Hardy. I had called Jeff Hardy. So like
Oh yeah, because we wanted to see him do some crazy shit off the ladder, right?
jump off the building. Yeah.
Yeah. What the hell? Anyways, sorry, I was just thinking. Anyway, but so yeah, I think that AJ Styles is a great addition to the match. I think here's what I was thinking though. This match is gonna have like Aleister Black, Otis, AJ Styles. Who else is in there?
Pulled up.
Yeah. Like, can you imagine this match in front of a live crowd? Like, can you imagine AJ and Aleister Black in front of a live crowd? Like, oh my God. Like, this match is going to make me, yeah. Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio, Aleister Black, Baron Corbin, Otis, AJ Styles. What a Money in the Bank ladder match this is going to be. This could be fire.
Yeah, really good.
Sorry, my husband just gave me really good news. Anyways, so yeah, that is gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. And here's the thing, though, that match would be great on its own. I don't know why we're doing both the matches at the same time.
I I don't know how that's gonna go.
I don't either.
I don't know. I'm expecting it to be really strange. Because I didn't even think about any of this until we talked on the last stream, but like they're either gonna have to like constantly cut away like between like the men and the women. They're in like different spots for most of the match or something, or there's gonna be like some weird overlap, like you were saying, where we might see like Shayna like choke out King Corbin was like your example. Like
Oh my God, it was so funny.
oh, and side note, the women's briefcase was definitely lower than the men's briefcase all night on Raw last night. Definitely noticed.
Was it?
It definitely was.
That's so funny because I was listening to Wrestling Observer and they were like perplexed and confused as to how they were going to tell the difference. You should get on that Twitch chat, and call them out.
I'll let them know it's because the women's is lower, which we've talked about before. I mean, it makes sense. Like I don't even know how tall Nia Jax is, but I'd imagine she's the tallest woman in the match, and she can't be taller than like. I mean, she's not 6 feet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, probably not.
Yeah, she's tall.
But even, you know what I'm saying? Like, because if she's the tallest, I think she'd be able to grab the men's one without much issue, probably. But like to be shorter than her, especially, who else is in this? Like, well, actually, most of them are like fairly kind of tall. Actually, Carmella though,
How tall is?
real hard time grabbing the men's briefcase with like her height. I think. I don't know how tall Dana is. I just know she's very fit. Lacey. I don't know. The whole point I'm trying to make, I guess, is it makes sense that the women's briefcase would be lower, but it does look kind of weird. But
It does look weird, but I guess it's a good way to tell the difference when you're up super duper high. Are they going to be like right next to each other, or are there two rings?
that's a great
think there's
question.
two
I mean,
rings.
they might as well have two rings if they're gonna. I mean, the roof. They're doing the roof of the building.
Yeah, I think there is. Now that I think about it, I think those pictures that were leaked, I think that there were two rings. I thought, because it seems kind of weird. It seems very crowded. And I know Terrell is in the chat saying merge it. It's been confirmed that both the men's and women's matches both the men's and women's Money in the Bank matches are going to be going on at the same time. And they're gonna start at like the floor of Titan Tower and go all the way up and like just wreck shit the entire way up. I just want, you know what I want? There has to be a bit where like Otis or somebody super funny, like Otis and I don't know, Asuka, like a strange pairing, just get in the elevator, press the button, and like for a while there's like all this fighting going on, and they just cut back to this quiet elevator and them going up and trying to have small talk and shit. That would be so funny.
They actually kind of did that with
The 24/7, right?
we ever see it was Orange Cassidy versus Stokely Hathaway. And they did it.
Yes.
It was like on IWTV. It was like a cinematic type match. Can't they did it at like the halftime of like it might have even been like the Super Bowl or something. I remember it was like during like some maybe the Stanley Cup. I can't remember when they did this match, but it was like this IWTV special, and it was Stokely Hathaway and Orange Cassidy, and they wound up doing that. It was really funny. Like they stopped fighting on the elevator, and then like when they got out of the elevator, they started fighting.
That's great. That's what they need to do. That's what they need to do. That would be so funny. Like that needs to be a bit.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. And to kind of piggyback on what Terrell was saying, I like merging the matches would be really strange because like you know what I mean. If AJ Styles wins the briefcase, can he technically go after the women's championship? You know what I mean? Or is there just you know? I can see it going the other way though because they've done that where like Nia entered
I could see Nia doing it.
the men's Royal Rumble and everything. That pissed me off too. Like she lost in the women's one and then got a chance in the men's one. I didn't understand it. But it was kind of cool though. She did. I will give her credit. Like she did look really good in the ring. Like taking all the finishers. Like she did like a 619 and like a
Yeah, it made her look great.
or something. She did really well. So I have to give her credit on that.
She did really well, yeah, for sure.
But when I see stuff like that, I'm all about equality. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
well, then why, like, can't
Throw a punch.
Braun Strowman enter the women's Royal Rumble then? What's the difference?
Well, Santina Morella did. Santina.
Yeah, true.
That that was interesting. But I mean, I get it. But so that happened. It was there. I mean,
Of course, had equal rights for taking the RKO. She took it like a champ.
oh,
Like,
yes.
for sure, give her credit on that.
And so did Beth. Beth Phoenix. Phoenix in the house. She took it the house, bro. She was like, she took it well.
She did.
I mean, it's a slippery slope, but I mean, I don't know. I'm actually really excited for Money in the Bank. Am I crazy? I'm really excited for it. I feel like they've had enough time to edit it. I feel like they've had plenty of time to make it look good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I'm just looking forward to watching something new. Like this weekend should be really fun if all things go as planned because the UFC is supposed to be back on Saturday with the pay-per-view. Like Sunday's supposed to be Money in the Bank. So hopefully it's a good weekend for like combat sports and stuff in general because it's like it's been a while since like the UFC usually runs every weekend for the most part at this point.
Yeah.
And it's been like 2 months since the show, which is crazy. But my brother was talking about this yesterday when we were just hanging out, and he brought up a really good point. He was like, this would go for WWE as well when they used to do like the big 4 pay-per-views and stuff. Like, he's like, I'm so excited for the UFC this weekend because I've had to wait. Like, you just have to wait a whole month in between fights, and like you always knew. I mean, I know all the fighters because I have to, but like most people who watch the show, you're not gonna know like the undercard fighters and like maybe some of the main card people. But when the shows were just once a month, they always stacked the cards because they always had like you knew everybody on each show, and you kind of don't get that anymore. But that's how it's feeling like that for me right now.
It is.
Yeah.
It feels like because they filmed it ahead of time, the card's been set for a long time, so we have more time to get excited about it. I feel like that's one thing that WWE has been really like lacking in. The cards aren't even set until like like in the pay-per-view. Like the pay-per-view is not set. There's like 0 matches planned ahead of time. This time we kind of basically know what's going on. We know the main events and we have time to get excited about it. And I feel like it's made it so much better. I feel like WWE needs to plan this shit ahead, put the cards out there ahead of time, maybe have a few like last minute matches, but I feel like everything is so last minute now, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't get you excited for it because there's nothing to get excited about because you don't know what the hell you're getting excited about.
Right, and then a lot of the time they'll just run the same match back the next night on Raw or something anyways.
Rematch. Yeah, they said they got rid of those rematches, but I don't know. I see a lot of them. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, so, I mean, hopefully it's a good show. We'll do a full, on Saturday, what we're planning on doing is doing a full prediction podcast on here. Where we'll go through all of these. I'm gonna give away a Wrestle Rumble entry on this show, and I'll probably do it on another one on that show too. I'll talk more about Wrestle Rumble at the end. They're one of our sponsors. But if you want a free entry for the Money in the Bank Pickup Contest, it's a $1,000 prize. It's just one prize, $1,000, one winner, and if you want an entry, I will just pick someone from the chat. So just say something in the chat about wanting a Wrestle Rumble entry, and I will just pick somebody before the end of the episode, and I'll reach out on Twitter and get you an entry. So
Yeah.
I'll remind you all a few more times for those of you who kind of come in and out of the chat throughout. But yeah, just mention that you want a Wrestle Rumble entry. I'll just randomly pick somebody. I'll basically put the names in a hat. In my head, I'll close.
In my head.
I'll close the screen. I'll scroll through the names, and then I'll pick somebody. So, but yeah. Any other thoughts on AJ and the Money in the Bank match or anything like that before we start? Roman.
Well, so the thumbnail. I make the thumbnails for these videos. And as soon as AJ was in that Money in the Bank ladder match, I immediately went back to 2017. I think it was 2017, which is the picture for the thumbnail, where and no one talked about it, and you were saying it's because of Jeff Hardy. But, like, AJ Styles, the ladder, so he's grabbing onto the briefcase, and the ladder falls. I remember this so vividly because I was like, oh my fucking God. The ladder falls, and he's hanging from the briefcase, and he just, like, looks down, he's, like, dangling, and he just lets go, and this huge thump happens, and just like no one talked about it, and I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it was my desktop background on my computer forever because it was just so unreal. And so I know that AJ Styles, while Jeff Hardy's not in the match, I know AJ Styles will always bring it. AJ Styles is super reliable, super badass. He's willing to take those crazy ass bumps, and I think it's a great addition to the Money in the Bank ladder match. And it, like, just looking at the lineup for the men's, it's something I wouldn't mind seeing them redo. Like, remember how they had to redo the women's Money in the Bank ladder match because people were so fucking mad that James Ellsworth.
I loved that ending. I thought it was perfect with Ellsworth winning. I thought it made
wild. It made sense, and it made me mad, which is, I think, was the whole fucking point.
Right, that was the whole point. But I know what you're saying. Yeah, they redid it on SmackDown.
They need to redo this match in front of a live crowd because this is gonna be off the fucking chain. Like, this is gonna be so good. Like, oh my God. Yeah, it's gonna be great. I can't wait. Like I said, I think we'll talk more about it on Saturday, obviously, but super interested to see how this whole cinematic thing goes. I have a feeling we're gonna get many memes from this match, so I'm very excited.
Yes. Yes, all of that. Yeah, definitely a lot of talent in the match. So who knows though? With it'll either be really good or really terrible. I think it's like one of those things where there won't be an in between. Like, it's either because there's gonna be so much of that cinematic element. Like, if they can pull it off, like how they pulled the Boneyard match off, like that's probably gonna be good if they can kind of parallel that. But I don't know. It's so unknown, like what we're even gonna get, especially with that's what's the really concerning is maybe not the right word, but the two matches happening at the same time is very, very strange to me. Like, it's
Yeah.
work or it's going to be terrible. I really don't know.
I don't know either. I feel like there has to be like interaction between them. It just can't be like, oh, here's what the women are doing. Let's go to the women. Let's go to the men. Like there has to be like someone's got to choke out. Like Shayna's got to choke out.
King
Like
Corbin.
it just has to happen.
Well, moving on, let's talk about this Roman Reigns stuff because I've been seeing a lot of that on Twitter, and I'll try to find the video while we're talking as well. But basically, for those of you who are unaware, like obviously Roman Reigns didn't do WrestleMania, and like there could be heat between him and the WWE because of that. I don't really know, but. And I'll also preface this by saying I haven't been watching SmackDown like consistently since WrestleMania. So, and when I have, a lot of the time it's been on mute, to be honest. So, like, I don't know if they've even been mentioning Roman Reigns.
They haven't.
And if that's the case, that makes this even more interesting. So, like, they showed a highlight package of like the best Money in the Bank cash-ins last night during Raw. The number one cash-in, obviously, for good reason, was Seth Rollins cashing in at WrestleMania 31 to win the championship. Brock Lesnar was the champion going in. He wound up pinning Roman Reigns to win the belt in a triple threat. And they edited all the footage of Roman Reigns out of that package, which a lot of people are really interested in because it can be a wide range of things. It can either be, that he's getting the... obviously,
I wouldn't say that. Don't say what I think you're about to say. Don't do
humongous
it.
differences between him and the
No.
rabid Wolverine, but
No.
I mean, or even like the Hulkster, you know what I mean? He got this treatment for a while where they took him out of the Hall of Fame and the whole deal. Obviously, they did things. Those guys messed up. Like obviously,
The CM Punk treatment.
Roman Reigns didn't mess up. Roman Reigns did the right thing. Like, Roman Reigns stayed away from a situation that he shouldn't have been in to begin with. So, like, he's clearly humongous differences. But where I'm saying is, like, you have, like, this one side of people thinking, like, he's getting, like, edited out. They're not talking about him. Like, they're trying to, like, wash their hands of Roman Reigns because they're so angry about him, not doing WrestleMania. And then there's the other side of it where it's like, well... And you'll give your perspective on this, where it's like, well, maybe it wasn't a big deal, and people are looking way too far into it. So, what do you think about all this?
I think that specifically the Roman Reigns being edited out of the WrestleMania footage. Here's my. As soon as I saw that, I said, it makes sense why they edited him out. It's because Roman Reigns was not the champion. Roman Reigns was not the champion. He was fighting Brock Lesnar, who was the WWE champion at the time, for the WWE championship. And then Seth Rollins cashes in and it becomes a triple threat. That is why I feel like they edited him out. I don't think it was really that big of a deal. I think it was literally just because Brock Lesnar was the champion and they just wanted to clarify that it's strange because people probably wouldn't look that deep into it. They would say, wait a minute, Roman Reigns wasn't the champion. Why are they showing this? But it's funny that people are making a bigger deal out of Roman Reigns being edited out of it than they would be if they had shown Seth Rollins pinning Roman Reigns,
Well, to be fair though, they've shown that footage a trillion times of him pinning Roman Reigns to win the belt. Like throughout since it's happened, they've shown it 1,000 times. So you know what I mean? Like that's why it's confusing because it's like, well, we all know he pinned Roman. Like they've shown it so many times. Like every time they show that highlight, even when Rollins had the curb stomp totally banned, they would still show the clip of him pinning Roman Reigns to win the belt. They wouldn't show the move, but they show him pinning Roman Reigns. So it's weird. It's really weird with, like, if they haven't been mentioning him on SmackDown and they're doing that, I think it's worth at least thinking about.
Yeah. I think it's worth thinking about. I mean, it obviously, I feel like it does kind of open Pandora's box, the whole editing him out, because it's like, to me, like I said, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I just thought they didn't even, I mean, they didn't even, well, they didn't show the pin, but they just, it was very, the way they edited it out was very strange. Um, but, and I can see why people would get, oh my goodness, I'm getting like so many text messages, sorry. The way they edited him out, it made it seem like they forced Roman Reigns out of it. I don't know. It's very interesting that, you know, there is all that talk of Vince McMahon being super mad at Roman Reigns and like wanting to like erase him, but it's like, dude, I can completely understand why he wants to be out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we were talking about it before the stream, but like WWE should have never even put him in that spot to begin with.
No.
I mean, obviously, no one knew all this stuff was going to happen. Like when they booked the match, but they had weeks to get out of that. Like even after they knew he wasn't going to do it, they still promoted the match like it was happening for like weeks or whatever it was. I think they were trying to like strong arm him and like pressure him into it. But that's how I felt about it. Is like Roman's already publicly said he's not going to do the show. Like he said it himself, and like I think it was like an Instagram live or something where he's just like talking like as himself, like walking around like his neighborhood or whatever, and he's like made it clear that his health was the priority and wasn't going to do the show. And even after that, they were still promoting it, and then they made no explanation as to why Braun Strowman was getting the match and why Roman Reigns wasn't on the show, and they just haven't mentioned Roman at all. Like, so that's it's just so weird. Like, I get on one hand, if you're the WWE looking at the situation, you're like, well, everyone else did the show that needed to be there, and you're supposed to be our number one guy. We have guys like, you know, John Cena is like the perfect example of like the greatest human to ever live with like what he recently did with. I'm sure everyone's seen the pictures of him. I'll pull him up, but he did a Make-A-Wish the other day during quarantine, and he's just a great guy. Here it is. So like you have people like this, right? But the difference, of course, being John Cena doesn't have a history of having cancer. You know, I think of John Cena. I mean, John Cena's the kind of guy that like he might just go anyways because he's like that dedicated to like being a guy. But and that's not a slight on Roman either. Like I think if Roman could have done WrestleMania, I think he would have. But he has to. We also still don't know, like even especially then we didn't know like how dangerous it was, or like, you know, there's reports of people like recovering and all this stuff. So WWE, it was on WWE. WWE should have publicly said, hey, you know, what our top performer, Roman Reigns, who had leukemia, and we were very public about that, he doesn't feel safe doing the show, and you know what? We on our own have also determined he should not do the show. And he should stay home until we get this all figured out. And when we're ready to bring him back and he's ready to return, then, you know, he's welcome back with open arms. And that would have been the end of it. It's all explained. No one's mad at anyone else, and we all are on the same page.
Right.
Instead, they've just hidden the whole thing and just not mentioned him, that's really weird to me.
It's weird, and I feel like it's so strange. They're being so petty about it. Like they're not even mentioning like anything to do with the pandemic on TV, which I completely understand because they want to like have this be a distraction, but it's literally our life, and that's literally just a part of it. And if you just would explain it to us once, like even once a show, I'm good. I'm good with that. Then I can move on. It's like they're avoiding it because they don't want people to ask questions, but people are going to ask questions anyway, especially the wrestling community, especially wrestling fans. Like you're not going to get out of this. You are not going to get out of people not asking questions. Like to me, this is just purely my perspective on what WWE is doing. By the way, I don't claim that this is what WWE is doing. This is just how I feel they are presenting themselves and why they're doing it. This is just my theory. I feel like they're not mentioning Roman Reigns because obviously he's got the whole leukemia thing and he's immunocompromised. And if they were to say, we care about the safety of our workers, especially Roman Reigns, who's immunocompromised, so we want him to stay home and stay healthy. And you should too. But then people are going to be like, well, then why aren't the other wrestlers staying home? Why are you still doing this? People are asking those questions anyway. People are avoiding those. WWE is trying to avoid people asking those questions, but it's not working. And they're just making people ask even more questions because they're just completely avoiding it. Like,
and there are questions that are incredibly easy to answer. Like, why is Roman Reigns on the show? Because he had leukemia.
Yeah.
Well, that's easy enough to understand.
Yeah, it's easy, right? It's like they're fearing lawsuits or something. Like, it's so bizarre. And I just don't understand why they can't just come out and say he's severely immunocompromised. He just got back into remission, and we've got to leave him home. He's our main eventer. Like, are they worried it's going to make him look like less powerful? Like, are you kidding me? To me, it makes him look more powerful. To me, Roman Reigns surviving leukemia
Twice.
Twice. He's been WWE champion. He's been Raw Universal champion. He has main evented WrestleMania. Like, he main evented like what, 5 years in a row, something crazy like that. Like, and he's done that while in remission from leukemia, from cancer. That's incredible. He looks like more of a superhero to me than he did before. And I don't know why they are covering up this, not covering it up, I'm not saying they are, but I don't know why they're not mentioning it. It is just so weird. It's so weird. Maybe it's a legal thing, maybe there is tension, maybe there's contract issues. I don't know. But something needs to be said because it's just really getting annoying at this point. And, people are curious. All human beings are curious. We want answers. And I want an answer. Maybe that whole clip was just because Brock Lesnar was the champion. Maybe it's because Brock Lesnar was the champion. Roman Reigns was just in this match. But you could have easily just added in Lillian Garcia saying Seth Rollins is cashing in his Money in the Bank and this is now a triple threat. Like, you could have just added that. Instead, they just went all this way to edit Roman Reigns out, and now people are freaking out. And especially with all this, you built your company on Roman Reigns, and now he's just like doesn't exist. So people are going to ask questions, especially the very vocal Roman Reigns fans online.
I see y'all in the chat with the echo. Hopefully I fixed that, by the way.
Sorry.
I'll mess around with the audio a little bit. I apologize about that. You guys, everyone, all the loyal viewers know that that's just part of the show at this point. Us figuring that echo out and trying to fix it throughout the show.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's a little bit better now. If not, please let me know. There are other things I can try to fix that. Greg Cherry says maybe this is some backwards way to get the internet fans behind him even more. I don't know if this is Greg Cherry from NoDQ.com. If it is, what's up? I've watched a lot of your trivia videos. I've known Jeff Meacham for quite a while, so. Anyways, I think that would be a very, 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 like, I don't know how to even answer that question, to be honest, because like if they, I don't think WWE is that clever to be honest, like to begin with, where they're like playing like a long play like that, where it's like, oh, you know what, we'll take our top guy off the show, and then we'll not mention him, and then we'll edit him out of all of our stuff, and then that's for sure going to work, because the internet's going to revolt against us, and then by the time he comes back, because to be fair, I think he was doing a pretty good job, like, he was getting pretty good reactions and stuff, like, he wasn't getting booed like he was a couple years ago anymore.
No.
You know what I mean? I don't think there would be, like, a really big need to do there was a lot of conspiracy theories when Roman took time off after his leukemia announcement. That was all done as a way to get him babyface, basically to take the heat off of him and have him return as like a big babyface. I'm not saying I believe that. I'm just saying I saw a lot of that on the internet.
Yeah.
I don't believe any of that stuff though. I think that, I think if the WWE could have Roman Reigns right now, or if they could have had him at WrestleMania, they would have, and that would have been it.
Yeah, I agree. I think, honestly, it's a very good, like, it's a nice, I mean, if they're trying to do that, maybe it's cool. But one of my biggest pet peeves is WWE's, like, multiple failed attempts at trying to get another Daniel Bryan. Let's get another Daniel Bryan. That was so over. Like, let these things happen organically. Like, that's the beauty of the Daniel Bryan story, is it was organic. It was natural, kind of like Kofi Kingston. That was a beautiful, natural, joyous, happy thing that happened. Like, let things happen like that. Like, they could have had that with Rusev, and they chose not to. They could have had that with, I'm trying to think of who else they could have had that with. Samoa Joe. They could have had that with so many other people, and here we are. And it's because they try to force this, like, 50-50 booking, like, or down and out, and then, he finally has this triumph. But the problem is, by the time this person has this triumph, the people aren't behind him anymore. Because they're like, why should I get behind this guy if he's going to keep losing? Daniel Bryan was such an enigma, such a, crazy thing. And I mean, same with Kofi. And Kofi's run was like, that was probably one of my favorite WrestleMania moments, like, of all time, as far as WWE Championship matches go. By the way, that was such a great thing, and it was such a freak thing because Mustafa Ali got hurt and all that.
Yeah.
But, they just need to let these things happen, like, organically. And I guess it's a lot more difficult when there's no crowd, to kind of know what the people want. But, I mean, if that's really the case, or, that's just not the way to do it, because it seems petty, with WWE's history, especially, like, with CM Punk, kind of forgetting that he is, and it seems very, very petty, and it's just so strange. They just really need to come out of the woodworks and just explain themselves. That's all we want.
Yep. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see how long it is before he's back on the show and when they start mentioning him again and all that stuff. I mean, I don't think it's at any kind of point where, like, he's gonna get released or anything like that, or like demand.
No.
Because I've seen a lot of that up there too. But like,
Oh God.
because WWE would be here's my honest opinion about Roman Reigns. I think that Roman is way better than what he's showing on WWE TV.
Agreed.
I think that he's been pigeonholed by the company to be a very particular way, similar to how John Cena was. There's a difference though. Like, John Cena was able. He was just different. John Cena, I think, was way more over, and he had better matches, more consistent, better matches. This is my personal opinion than Roman Reigns has throughout his run.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think John Cena is just a different animal of a human being, just in general. Like, they're
Just in general.
well, honestly, like in pro wrestling up to this,
Oh yeah, for real.
you have like The Rock, Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, and like John Cena. They're all in like that same like super mega like top guy. I mean, to put it in perspective, John Cena was the top guy in the WWE for like 15 years. I mean,
Crazy, yeah.
that's complete. And you think about like
Makes me feel old.
Well, yeah, right. Well, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, it was like his major run was from what, like 1997 or so to like 2002 or something like that. So
Yeah, God,
like
I feel
5 years versus like 15. I mean, what Cena did was remarkable, to be fully honest, to stay as healthy as he could over those years and all the traveling and everything. But I think that Roman Reigns, like, really, if given, like, if allowed to be himself, and if he, like, let me put it this way, if he was to go to like AEW, I think you'd see like a Roman Reigns who would like really get over, like, and he would be forced to. He would either have to get over immediately, or he would get swallowed. Mm-hmm. Fan base and the talent around him.
Yeah.
Be showing up in a company like AEW and just like having like average matches if you're Roman Reigns. Like you're in there competing against Cody and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and all the crazy good talent they have over there, Hangman and everybody. So like, but I mean, imagine that. I mean, if WWE, if Roman and WWE somehow get on bad enough terms that he walks away from the company, like, he's linked up tight with Ambrose or Moxley. He's obviously known Jericho a long time. He knew Cody. They worked together in WWE.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
That'd be the big, like that'd be like the big one. Like people have been
That would be the
wild about
biggest
like,
twist ever.
yeah, and I think he would show up on a company like that and like completely blow people's minds because I honestly believe in the WWE he's basically being told like these are your moves, you do them in basically this order, you want this kind of reaction, blah blah blah. Yeah, you're doing this thing, whatever exactly this is, and then and then but I think if out on his own, if like him and Moxley had a match in like AEW and they were just allowed to sit in the back and just do what they wanted to do, like I think people would be really surprised. Roman Reigns, at the absolute very least, is incredibly athletic, and we barely see like a lot of his athleticism. He's a super athletic guy.
Super athletic. Hold on, my headphones are about to die, so I have to go get a new one. They're literally right next to me. I just have to go reach them. But yeah, I think that would be freaking wild. I really hope. I mean, I hope for WWE's sake too that Roman Reigns stays with the company and this is just precautionary because of coronavirus, which it probably is. We're just kind of having fun here at this point, but I think that. Can you? Oh my God, Roman Reigns in AEW would be so cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome. While Jesse's doing that,
I'm back.
Oh, that was fast.
Yeah, I told you.
I'll still take something from the chat though. Let's see.
Super chats are really cool too, by the way.
Yeah, if you super chat, I'll definitely see the question, comment, or statement, and we'll dive.
It'll be like up on the screen, guys. This is your time, guys and gals.
Oh yeah, Terrell, that's a good one. Not really a question, but it says at Jessi Davin at Corey Hummel, still mad they didn't use American Badass Taker against drunk Cena, which I'm assuming you mean at WrestleMania in New Orleans when Cena and him wrestled when Cena came out of the crowd, and yeah, I what was his comment about that match? Hold on. He's still he's mad that it wasn't American Badass. Yeah, I actually agree. I was there live for that, and I was really bummed when like the quote unquote dead man Undertaker came out. And then he just squashed Cena like it was nothing. Like, what the hell is this? Yeah.
Fucking Bluetooth.
Huh?
My Bluetooth is being whack.
I can hear you all right now.
No, I know my AirPods are Bluetooth's being shitty.
Gotcha.
I gotta turn it on and off again.
Peter Davies says, what I missed right now is NJPW. Yeah, I could definitely go for some New Japan. I need to actually get caught up on New Japan. That's actually a good reminder that I need to actually watch some of that stuff again.
Okay, I'm back. I'm back in business. I miss New Japan too. Oh my God. I miss it.
Let's see.
It's my shit whack again.
Work on getting a Streamlabs account also. Yeah, Greg, we actually have Streamlabs set up. So that's where you're seeing
Super chat and find out.
right. If you super chat or you
Give me your PayPal, or actually, never mind. I can see it in our chats.
Yeah, I have a PayPal that you can send to, and me and Jesse split everything 50-50. I think Jesse's about to put that.
The 522.
Yeah. It's like paypal.me/ Oh no, it's probably Fight Talk. It's probably a Fight Talk.
Okay, let me find it.
Um.
Aha, there it is.
But Greg, the reason we haven't done that is because for whatever reason, it's trying to force my PayPal account into a business account when I try to set that up, and I I do a lot of business through PayPal, and I don't know what that changes like about my account. So I just haven't switched it. That's the only reason we don't have it linked directly to Streamlabs at the moment. But
Do you want me to put the PayPal in there?
yeah,
Okay.
throw that in there.
There's the PayPal. Is that it?
I hope so. Let me I'm gonna check my.
I have a PayPal too, but it's linked to my husband and I's account, so that's why I don't put it on there. But I mean, you can just super chat here if you want. I mean, no pressure. But anyways, but we are on Streamlabs. We have the cool little widgets if you subscribe and all that fun stuff. Oh my God, I'm getting another phone call. Leave me alone. Like literally, no one's called me ever except for when we're talking. It's annoying. But anyways, we'll be talking about Roman Reigns stuff. I can't remember.
I think we got our opinions out there pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I just hope they figure things out. I'd also like to see
Me too.
Dave, so we'll
I know people are gonna call us crazy for that, but you know what? We can dream. Don't kill our dreams, y'all. That would speak. Can you imagine, dude? Oh my God.
you want to read Terrell's question? We'll talk about.
Okay. Here's a question I have. That one. Should Tessa and Nyla be stripped of their titles? Fans are getting angry at them being home, not defending. No. No, I don't think anyone should be stripped of their titles for staying home. Just like I don't think anyone should be punished for staying at home if they don't feel safe. I think it's just right now, like, there's so much shit going on in the world. I feel like there's a lot we probably don't know about these people and their health for personal reasons. And I feel like possibly they could be immunocompromised or they're just trying to stay home and stay safe. And honestly, they're already champions, so they don't really have to, like, this sounds weird, but it's like, for me in this pandemic, it's like, here's the reasoning I have behind it. They've already proven that they are championship caliber. They are the champions. Like, for AEW, for instance, Nyla Rose she's the champion. I'm currently really enjoying seeing all the other women wrestlers out there trying to prove that they could take her on. And they're building themselves up. Like Britt Baker is doing a great job. I think that it's freaking fantastic. I think she's doing wonderful stuff, and I think that that's building to a feud with them. Is it strange that they haven't really mentioned that she's been off of TV? Yeah, but I feel like AEW is going to be live this week, right? So why not, you know? And also, I think Nyla Rose and her wife have been making, like, face masks for the hospital workers as well. So they've been doing good deeds while they're home.
That's good to hear. I had no idea about the face mask thing.
Yeah, they've been sewing face masks and stuff for all the hospitals, which I think is really cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange with Tessa because not for her own reasons. Like, obviously, I get if she can't be at the show, it's totally understandable. But it's weird that now Moose is carrying around the TNA World title while Tessa is still the Impact champion. So see how that.
Yeah, I don't know. We need an explanation for that as well, and I don't know if that's literally just because of maybe a personal immunocompromisation issue that we just haven't known about and maybe can't know about, or if it's just whatever. But this is just such a weird time, you know. And so I'm willing to put aside what I would normally not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see why people would be very upset, understandably so. Your champions are not defending. I mean, but this is such a weird time that it's like,
Yeah. It's the same kind of thing with, like, Pete Dunne. Like, he can't be there on NXT. It's not like anyone's, like, mad that Matt Riddle carrying around both the titles. Like,
right?
what can you really do?
Yeah, that was actually really funny. Did you like that? Did you watch the Broly Weds or whatever?
No, I saw they did something like that, but I haven't actually watched it. I think I saw something where like maybe it was Brian Alvarez and those guys were like
Hated it.
hated, yeah, and I saw like just enough of like them hating on it that I was like, all right, I'm probably gonna hate this too, so I'm just not gonna watch it.
It was dumb, but I loved it. They hated
Really?
it, and you guys know I love Brian and Vinny and Craig and Rob and everyone over there and Filthy Tom over at Wrestling Observer and Dave, I guess. Dave's Dave. But yeah, I'm gonna respectfully disagree. I thought it was the type of stoner humor that I appreciate.
Maybe I would have liked it then too.
Yeah, I don't know. It was. It's one of those things where people, the biggest harp that people have on NXT is that a strange harp, but it's kind of fair. It's like all wrestling back to back to back to back to back, which is fun, but there's not a lot of storyline. You know what I'm saying? We need more like fun little segments, and I think that was their attempt at it. So,
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Another good time to remind everybody. First of all, I saw that Wrestle Rumble entry to give away for Money in the Bank. If you weren't in here earlier, I did see a couple people that wanted to claim some earlier in the chat, so I'll definitely keep y'all in mind when I'm picking somebody at the end of the show. But if you want a free entry for the Wrestle Rumble Money in the Bank pickup contest, the first place, well, the only prize is $1,000 cash, and I'm going to give away a free entry before we get off here today, so just keep that in mind. If you want an entry, just let me know in the chat. Just say, like, I want a Wrestle Rumble entry. That simple. And I'm just going to pick one person to give one away to. And also make sure you're liking the video. That helps the out a lot. That it helps more than you understand. Or I shouldn't say more than you understand, because a lot of you probably do understand.
Oh, yeah.
It helps. It really does help the video a lot to get thumbs ups on it. And it's totally free, and it takes you all like no time to just hit that button. So we would really appreciate that.
Smash that like.
Yeah, smash it. You don't want to.
1 million likes and I'll show my tits.
There you go. That's. Wait, how many? What did you say?
1 million likes and I'll show my tits.
A million likes. A million likes. There you go. That's pretty good. That's pretty good incentive.
Smash.
Do you want to pick any? There's like some random stuff to talk about in the chat's been saying. Questions, comments, statements, especially if you super chat them, we'll dive deep. I don't know how much longer we're going to be on the stream for, so now would probably be a good time to send those in.
Yeah, I mean, there was something I wanted to bring up, and I completely fucking forgot, and it pisses me off because it was a very, very interesting topic, and now I can't remember. And it was like, I was so proud of myself. I was like, this is going to be such an interesting, engaging topic to discuss. I don't know. It's kind of touchy. I was going to say, no.
I don't know. Do you want to text me what you were thinking? Now everyone's going to be wondering.
Well, I was gonna see. I wanted to kind of one day. I don't know if we'll talk about it now, but talk about how is the internet wrestling community ruining wrestling for a lot of people, like people being jerks. But
that's always kind of been a
yeah
going kind of discussion.
Yeah, and I feel like
I think the internet wrestling community does way. It's way better to have it than not have it, in my opinion. Like way better to have it.
Yeah, me too. I agree. I feel like we just need to come together as like a community and learn how to like kind of filter out all that bullshit that people, because a lot of people do it just for attention. Like they'll post like a really, really wild opinion and just because they want to see those notifications light up, I feel. So I feel like if we can come together and just kind of embrace the togetherness and what we have in common and enjoy that, then I think it would be a lot better of a place. And I do see someone had a question, any opinion on Ricochet being buried time and time again? What the hell was that? Did you see that?
Yeah, I'll pull that up actually. I'll pull the I know what you're talking about. It's from this match here.
What the hell?
Brendan Vink pinned Ricochet after a big boot last night in a tag team match. Yeah.
And this poor man was slaughtered by Brock Lesnar in a match that he had no business being in. Ricochet is so damn talented.
Yeah.
He's so damn talented, and it's like, what are you doing? What the hell are they doing with Ricochet? He's so cool. He's so flippy. I thought he was a superhero. The hell? That's not my superhero. That's not. I don't see superheroes doing that. Do you?
No, I mean, I think Ricochet is very, very good in the ring. Like, obviously,
So good.
does like some of the most incredible stuff that I've ever seen. But I mean, I'm gonna be totally honest. Like, I am not surprised. Like, you know, it's like, but to be fair, this might just be me, and this might just be nitpicking, but he comes off as like really dweeby to me outside of the ring. Like, I don't get behind him outside of the ring because all of his promos are like, "I'm a superhero. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm just gonna go out and have a good match and get the win for all my fans out there." And then when he's coming down the ramp to his music, he's like doing like these little like sneaking around moves, and I'm like,
Right? Like, I'm Spider-Man.
yeah, dweeby. I'm like, what is this? Like, just I don't know, and that might not even be his fault at all. I'm just saying, like, that's how it comes off. Once he gets in the ring and he starts doing all his cool moves, like that's all you really need to know about the guy. Is like he could never talk ever and just be known as the guy who's just, you know, when you see him, he's gonna do crazy shit you never seen before. Like,
Right.
you know, that you're really impressed by, but.
It's incredible.
But I totally get it. Like, the way he was used in NXT was different, you know? They didn't make him this like, dweeby
Yeah.
character.
You know what? You know what it seems like? I just kind of thought about this. This is really dumb. It's a stretch, but it's out there. Having like the number one, I think Vince hates like the number one because think about it. EC3, his song was about being in the top 1%. Ricochet's song, it goes one and only. Ty Dillinger was always about the 10. That's got a 1 in it. He's got a vendetta against number one, bro.
There's a guy named J. Newman who wrestles on the Indies. He's numero uno Ichiban, number one. It's like number one his stuff, and he's
Don't put him in WWE, he'll be buried.
yeah. He strikes me more as like an AEW type, anyways. To be honest, that's the point, which I like. I hate saying this because I hope that everybody winds up making a lot of money that wrestles. Like, if you're on the Indies, I hope you make it somewhere. I don't care if it's Impact or WWE or AEW or New Japan or Ring of Honor, wherever you can make money. Like, I'm all for it. But like, I have a very strong bias right now towards like guys that I'm a fan of on the indie scene, hoping that they wind up in AEW and not NXT/WWE. Like, I just don't have it. I have way more faith that AEW will let them do their thing, because this is for a situation like Ricochet was one of the absolute top names on the indies for like almost 20 years. I mean, he's been around forever.
Yes.
And now he's losing to guys that like, I mean, this, no offense, I don't know who Brandon Vink is. I know Shane Thorne from his previous tag team, the Mighty whatever. But like, Brandon,
They were NXT jobbers, right?
they had some good. They made it to the finals of the Dusty Cup one. Like, they were all right, but the injuries kept happening and stuff. And then one of the two wound up leaving the company. But Brendan Vink, like, I could be totally wrong, but like, I never, and I'm pretty, you know, I watch a lot of indie wrestling. Like, I wasn't aware of Brandon Vink on the indie scene. He looks to me in his movements and his presentation that he, a very athletic guy who probably went through the performance center and was built kind of like want to build. You can just kind of tell, but he isn't bad. Like, the big booty he Ricochet with was really nice. Like, he was in the right spot. I have nothing against it, but you see guys like Ricochet and Cedric Alexander who were like super ultra talented and just getting beat clean by these, like, you know, like Brandon Vink. You could take Brandon Vink.
I could beat him up.
What's that?
I said I could beat him up.
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying. But you could take Brandon Vink and you could put him in like 2005, and it would be like him next to like Chris Masters and Lance Cade and like all these guys that like all fit like this very like similar mold of
Yes.
of wrestler, and he reminds me of like one of those guys. So and once again, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying like that's it's like that versus like Ricochet, who was a top guy for most of his career on the Indies, has a huge fan base, and now is just getting beat clean by these type of guys, which is that's WWE, and that's why I have a lot more faith in other companies to do with these indie guys.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think that they have probably more creative input in what they do, because you have to develop a character. You have to set a foundation for this guy to flourish and blossom and build him up. You know what I'm saying? I wonder if they are kind of teasing that Ricochet may join the Monday Night Messiah. That's what I feel like's happening here.
I would like that if that was.
I would love it. I would not be mad at that.
Because they were saying Shane Thorne and Brandon Vick are signed with MVP, like.
Oh, there you go.
So that's where I think part of this push is coming, which I'm okay with. Like,
yeah, that's fine.
I'm okay with MVP having like
Shane
a little
Thorne is
stable.
so hot. I'm not gonna lie. That's very petty of me, but he's very attractive.
Who's that?
Thorne.
Oh, Shane Thorne.
Yeah, he's very pretty. I like him a lot. He's fun to look at.
Well, there you go. So there's a reason to push the guy, I guess.
Get that female demo, bro. Yeah.
Get that female demo.
But I think that would be good for Ricochet. He needs kind of like a revamp. You know what would be so cool is if Ricochet joins the Monday Night Messiah and just goes full whack and just like takes over Seth Rollins' spot.
Well, what I really like about, I already liked the Monday Night Messiah, like in theory, like I like the gimmick a lot, and I think Rollins does a really good job with it. But I think, if I remember correctly, last night, Buddy Murphy kind of alluded to like me and Rollins. Well, like I could have misheard him, but I think he said something along the lines of like, one day, like I'm going to take his spot as like the top guy, but that day isn't now. Like now we have to work together, but later, like I want to be the man, kind of thing.
Who said that?
Buddy Murphy, unless he was talking about somebody else, but like I just happened to hear he did some interview yesterday, and unless I just totally misunderstood what he was talking about, that was my takeaway from it. Was like,
ooh, spicy.
Was like we have to work together now. I'm his disciple now, but like later, like I have intentions of being the champion myself. Like, I think would be the best way of doing a stable like that. That would because that's an interesting dynamic. If you have a leader like Seth Rollins that knows everybody he's like all of his disciples like are going, like they all want to be the top guy. So like he's grooming them to be the top guy, but like it's mutually beneficial at the same time because like he can't do it on his own. Like he's unable to win the title and keep the title without the help. So it's worth him having the help, but he knows at some point like they're going to want his spot. So like he has to kind of keep that in mind also while I think that would be a really, really cool. We've never really seen something like that before.
Yeah, I think, and you know what? It's such an interesting continuity, like development. It's such an interesting continuity. Oh, there was a word I was using, like storyline and dynamic. Continuity dynamic, because you saw Seth Rollins was the same way with J&J Security, and then he kind of had his Shield bros have his back for a while there. Then he was on his own, and he looked like a little bitch because he was a baby face. and now he's kind of become this Monday Night Messiah. He's always had disciples, if you think about it. He's always had to have a crew, whether it's the Shield, J&J, Buddy Murphy and his little gang right there. He's always had to have people by his side because he's never been able to hold his own. And it's a really interesting kind of thing that I really think, obviously Kevin Owens is hurt, but that's like something like, Kevin Owens could bring up sometime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When we kind of had that dynamic with like Evolution a little bit, like with because Batista and
Yeah.
like everybody knew eventually like they were gonna be the guys, but Triple H didn't know that. That's what makes that different. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
to Triple H, they were there to help, but the fans could see from the outside, like especially with the Batista turn because it was so like long of a build up. All the fans knew it was coming, but Triple H didn't know. Whereas like Rollins, you could literally have like an awesome type of scenario where like, he retains the title in some big match after like Murphy helps him or something like that. And he's like in the ring with the title and like Murphy is like holding his hand up or whatever. And then like they like look face to face and like Rollins' face just like totally changes because he's like exhausted because he just like retained this title. And then he's like,
oh shit,
this is it. And then like Murphy just clawed, and it's like we all knew it was coming. They both knew it was coming, but like that's Murphy being like, all right, like now's my time. Like I would love a storyline like that. Like
yes, we need another storyline like that. Before. Yeah, it's kind of like what it's like when Daniel Bryan turned on the Wyatt family. We knew it was coming, but it was still great.
Yeah.
So good.
That one worked really well.
That was great. We all knew it was coming, but whew, it's good.
Yeah. Z2CU said Ricochet vs. Velveteen Dream from TakeOver 2 years ago is still one of my favorite matches of the year. That was a great match.
That was so good. Yeah.
Velveteen went on a stretch there of like, same with Ricochet, both in their NXT runs, but like Velveteen really Ricochet too, because like he had like the matches with Adam Cole and stuff also that were real good. And Velveteen versus Aleister Black, I'll always remember.
Ooh, that was so good.
Right, because the expectations going into that, at least for me, was like the verdict was still out for Velveteen. Like we all knew Aleister Black was the man, but like Velveteen, this was like the dude from Tough Enough who like had changed into this like androgynous like Prince type, almost kind of Orlando Jordan-ish, but like not all the way like that. It's like it was interesting, and I couldn't tell if it was working or not. And then the dynamic in that match he had with Aleister Black, like that made him he was a made man after that, because it was like I've got to see this guy in the next takeover. Like if you can do such a good job that like I have like low or no expectation, and I come out of the match being like I'm willing to pay money to watch you again, like that's you have fully done your job, and Velveteen definitely did that for me with his match against Aleister.
Yes, absolutely, definitely proved himself for sure.
Terrell says, this is random. I was watching a YouTube video last night with Jericho fooling The Rock. The Rock talking about how Jericho beat Juventud down south, in parentheses, W. Yeah, that's pretty good. Especially because Juventud's WCW gimmick towards the end was the Juice, which was a direct ripoff of The Rock. So it's funny that The Rock would mention him, because clearly he knew that who he was doing, so that's pretty funny.
Yeah. Oh, my stomach's making noises. It always makes weird noises. It's like as soon as like, oh, you guys are live.
Terrell says, has anyone following the Impact crossovers and Being the Elite lately? I haven't seen the newest episode of Being the Elite. I'm actually reviewing those again on the Fightful Select Weekender every Sunday. So I'm caught up, but not up through the latest episode. I still need to watch that one. So, I can't remember what other crossovers they've done. They have done them in the past, though, with Impact. People that are under contract to Impact have shown up on Being the Elite in the past, though.
Yeah. I think it's great. I think it's just a little bit of freedom because I don't feel like being the elite is like a contractual obligation, you know? So it's just them shooting the shit.
Well, because even like Sami Zayn has popped up on Being the Elite before.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
while under
they
WWE
killed off
contract.
Adam Cole on there. He was on there when he was in New Japan and all that.
Mm-hmm.
There's been so many WWE guys on there. I feel like, you know, it's more on WWE that they're not in there than it is on like AEW or Impact or even like New Japan. You know what I'm saying? Like W's like, no, you can't beat that. But that's in their contract there. But Being the Elite is like literally like a YouTube show. But like I feel like in WWE you have to go through PR for like anything. Like you can't talk to anyone.
Yeah.
Like so. Yeah.
Darbot says Joey has been on BT before. Yeah, he had an ongoing storyline for a while against Page, the Penis Pretender storyline. That was great.
Yes, it was great. I'm proud of Joey Ryan for staying on independent wrestling. I thought that was a really cool thing.
I don't think it was his choice.
Really? Yeah, I don't think he would have been able to get over.
I think if he was offered an AEW contract, he would have taken it.
Really? I think so.
Yeah, I think I'll say this. I've said this on the Weekender a ton of times. Joey Ryan's not really my cup of tea. Like his. Yeah. I fully. Well, let me put it this way: if I was wrestling Joey Ryan, I wouldn't want. If I was wrestling anybody, I wouldn't want them like. I'm a germaphobe to begin with, so somebody like licking a lollipop and then putting it in their crotch and then like pulling it out of their crotch and sticking it in my mouth. I don't want any part of that. So it's hard for me
to poop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard for me to cheer for that, but I fully respect what he's done for wrestling, especially with like PWG especially and bar wrestling and stuff. Like and I respect the fact that he built up himself independently long enough that he's able to make a living on the independents, because you have to be incredibly talented to do that without the backing of a major company. So I fully respect him for what he's done in wrestling, and he's had a hand in
a wild gimmick. You know, it's such a wild and taboo. I don't think it's really that taboo, but especially these days. But to have like such a taboo gimmick and to get yourself over while being an independent wrestler is pretty incredible.
Yeah, it really is, and we can see the power of it right now. Like AEW, like the Young Bucks and Kenny especially are three guys that like completely did that without the WWE. Cody obviously had people knew him from WWE. Kenny had worked for WWE in the past, but like wasn't a big deal at the time. So anyway, what I've heard, and I think it's pretty public, I've heard that Tony Khan's not a fan of Joey Ryan. That's why he doesn't work. Yeah, I can't like confirm or deny that. That's just what I've heard. And because it wouldn't make any sense, because like he was prominently featured at All In.
Yes.
That was before Tony Khan was involved.
Yes.
And since then, he hasn't been seen.
That's right. The Penis Druids came out.
What's that?
The Penis Druids came out. That's
right.
What she said. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like they featured him that heavily on that show when it was, Cody, the Bucks, and Omega putting the show together. But so what's the only difference between then and now? Like, Tony Khan is above them. So you know what I mean? If he was around, you'd have to imagine that Joey Ryan would have still been a big part of the show. So. Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, it's not like he's being hindered or anything, so he's doing good on his own.
Well, and if he's he works with Impact, like he's signed with Impact right now.
He does.
So do you who? I mean, then once again, I don't mean to knock anybody who works for Impact Wrestling, because there's some people that I think prefer to work there. It's a light schedule. You get paid good money. You can have good matches, where you're not being totally controlled. Still, someone like Ethan Page is really bad from a run in Impact. Him and Josh Alexander, the North, the tag team. I think Impact is the perfect place for them right now, because I think both those guys would kind of get lost in the mix in NXT or AEW but they're going to have a good run in Impact. They've had a great run in Impact, and when they become available, their market value is much higher than before they sign. So there is absolutely benefits to working with Impact Wrestling. But if you're Joey Ryan, and you've been doing this as long as you have, if you're offered a contract with Impact and you're offered a contract with AEW, it's a no-brainer to sign with AEW.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where my mindset is, where it's like, I don't think he's voluntarily turning down AEW contracts. I just don't think he's being offered AEW contracts.
I don't know. It's a mystery, and will forever be a mystery unless he speaks on it. So.
True. Well, and what he's doing in Impact is pretty interesting too. He's tag teaming with Rob Van Dam, which is like
right.
random as hell, but like it.
I think it makes sense.
So,
I think it makes sense. Same kind of vibe, sexy vibes.
Darbot says, I think the North is better than that top 15 tag team in the world. Yeah, I'd agree. They're the best tag team in Impact, for sure, in my opinion. And Impact's still a great company.
Yeah.
Anything that you want to pick out of the chat or talk about? Super chats will make sure to get your stuff.
Yeah.
100%. I know we said it a lot on the show, but.
Yeah, it's because we don't got none. We want money.
we want.
I was saying, honestly. Let's see. The North of, yeah, you just said that. Gargano, Ricochet and Gargano at TakeOver Phoenix was almost given 4 3/4 stars by Meltzer. It was so good. I just feel like NXT. I think what NXT does that's a lot better is they kind of choreograph the matches and make the matches according to what the wrestlers want. I feel like AEW does that as well. They kind of take who the wrestler is, what the wrestler is doing, what makes them so good, and they add elements of that to the match. And I think it makes it so good. Whereas in WWE, there's like a formula, and you have to stick with it no matter who you are. Like, what your story is, you have to do this, this, and this. And it's like, okay. But at least in NXT and AEW, there's more wiggle room to show your personality and embrace your gimmick, if that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. It's really funny that, like, we live in a world where, like, actually, you know what? Here's a good example of, like, kind of it's actually the 180 opposite of like what I was going to say, but it reminded me of something that I think is interesting. I was watching when I do the Weekender podcast for Fightful, I do like match recommendations and stuff for people to check out like for free online or through like IWTV. And my recommended show or my recommended match this past week was Chris Hero versus Adam Cole from Ring of Honor.
That's right.
In like 2014, I think it was. And the reason I bring that up is because it got me really thinking about Chris Hero. Because they showed the tail of the tape before the match, and his pro debut was 1998, which is wild that he's been around that long. But it's just crazy to think that like that guy's wrestled for so long, and he's never been on Raw or SmackDown. Like he's been signed to the company before. He's worked with NXT and NXT UK. He was around when WCW was around and didn't work for them. So he worked like very little in Impact. I don't think he really did anything with them. So like he's worked for this long.
God, yeah.
He wrestled like for any kind of mainstream TV, but he's like an indie god. Like it's
yeah.
It's wild.
I think that maybe if he were to go to a big company, it would kind of tarnish his image.
Well, he was in a weird spot because because he's the kind of guy where like if he would have got called up, there's no way Vince would have done anything with him.
Oh yeah, no way.
So he was in this really weird situation. Like if he had come in, let me put it this way: if like he had come in, well, he was there, but then he left and he came back. So if he had never left, and he got the same kind of push as like Kevin Owens did, if like Kevin Owens wasn't around, it would have been different. I think, or like Samoa Joe. I think what happened is he just got kind of signed at the worst time possible for a guy with body type, because what he does, like Chris Hero is incredibly versatile in what he can do in the ring, especially
Yeah.
all the weight that he's put on over the years. Like, but I think when you're Vince McMahon, you can only justify giving those spots to so many people. Like, you have your Kevin Owens, you have your Samoa Joe, you kind of have your Braun Strowman, bigger, taller guy as well. But like, I think he would see Chris Hero and just be like, or Cassius Ohno and just kind of see him as like a lower version of those guys, because he already has all those other guys like positioned. Like, you don't need a second.
Yeah.
You don't need a second Samoa Joe. If you're Vince, I'm not agreeing. I'm just that's where I think his head
No, I
would be.
understand.
You know what I mean? Whereas Triple H at least was able to be like, he never gave him like a huge push, but at least he could be like, hey, go out there and have awesome matches. Like, we don't have anything for you in NXT, so we'll send you to the UK, and you can go have awesome matches in the UK. And like, he was a great utility guy for NXT. So, but on the indies, he's an indie god. Like, he's a main eventer anywhere in the world for any indie company. So
That sounds like so much fun, though. Like, that sounds like fun. Like, I can literally go anywhere that's an independent wrestling scene and, like, just main event. That sounds like a great gig.
yeah, especially now in an era where like merchandise is so big, like he could be selling T-shirts at these shows and stuff, no problem. Like
For sure. Go
WE
viral.
WEWSA says when Chris Hero Wisa? He said that when Hero left the WWE the first time, he was using the pedigree, and his opponents would kick out at 1. That's funny. That's really funny.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's some shade.
I like it.
That's some shade. He's got.
See people talking about Cesaro too. It was great to see him finally do the UFO at WrestleMania.
Right?
There was no crowd, but
I know. But everyone online popped for it.
and that was such a missed opportunity. Also, I was saying so years ago. I used to write articles for Fansided for the Daily DDT, and one of my articles I wrote was like this whole like opinion piece on how like they had Chris Hero and Cesaro signed at the same time, and they never once did like a tag. Like they're the Kings of Wrestling on the Indies were like one of the best tag teams ever, and the WWE never tag teamed them together. And my proposition was, you have all these 3-man teams like the New Day, and you had the Shield at the time, and 3-man band, and you can name a ton of these 3-person teams. I was always like, why wouldn't the bar also want that? Like, you have Cesaro,
Right.
Sheamus, and Cassius Ohno. That would have been perfect. And they never
blew it.
Well, Hero, he got screwed so many times. Like, I'm sure you've heard the story about CM Punk's original pitch for the Shield.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was supposed to be Cassius Ohno, not Roman Reigns. And the WWE were like, well, Roman's kind of like, you can have Seth Rollins and you can have Dean Ambrose, but like Roman Reigns is like the guy we really want, like, being pushed out of this also. So Hero, I mean, what a different career trajectory. If he would have been Roman Reigns instead. Huh?
Can you imagine that? Roman Reigns not in the Shield. That's like one of those thought experiments. You know what I'm saying? That's like a thought experiment to just ponder one day. Like, whoo, can you imagine?
What a different trajectory.
That'd be crazy.
Greg Cherry says Vince hates tag team wrestling for some reason. Yeah, it seems that way, and I don't understand it. AEW, their tag team division is awesome. And
Oh my God, so good.
Yeah.
So good.
And NXT for a while. I mean, it's still pretty good, but like for the longest time, when you had like the Revival and the Vaudevillains and Enzo and Cass and American Alpha and the Lucha House Party and Ascension and Authors of Pain and now of course like Undisputed Era, like Kyle Riley. Kyle Riley, in my opinion, is like the most undervalued guy in the entire.
Undervalued for sure.
That guy is so good at everything. Maybe not like the best promo in the world, but like it doesn't matter at all. Like you never need to talk. Just he's okay at talking, but like he just
Yeah.
so good in the ring, it just doesn't.
So good at ring, you don't need it. You don't need words.
Yeah, like and Kyle and Bobby Fish very good as well. I just prefer O'Reilly if like I had to choose between the two, but
Yeah.
incredible tag team. You know, like
So good.
or even like Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, like they've had good matches. And,
Yes.
I mean, there's been so much good tag team wrestling on NXT, and then like yeah, like Greg said, for whatever reason on like he mentions it's weird because New Day versus Usos was one of the best tag team feuds in the last 15 years. I completely agree. They had some incredible matches, New Day and the Usos.
God, they were so good. I know those were great feuds.
Well, and the Shield, like there was a time there where the Shield versus Dustin and Cody, like those matches were great.
Mm-hmm.
And people just I'm with you. I don't understand it. Also with us with Kyle O'Reilly, yeah, he's the man. I compare him a lot to Benoit, not in a personal standpoint, but from the standpoint of like he can be the first match on the show, the mid card, the main event. He can be the world champion, the tag team champion, the television champion, whatever it is. Like no matter where he is on the show, he is going to have a good match, and it doesn't matter who his opponent is. And he just goes balls to the walls, 110% every single time.
Balls to the wall. Sorry, that was kind of weird. Yeah. No. Yeah. Multifunctional. I don't know. Yeah, I agree. You're killing it today. You got it today. Get it?
What do you say?
I said you're on point today.
Oh, I'm MMA on point. I got you.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's anything else we should get to. Zed asked a question if you want to read that out.
The top 5 matches in any promotion in the last decade. Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada. 1, 2, 3. Those were all great. Dustin Rhodes and Cody Rhodes. And last decade, I don't know. I need to put like a WWE match in there.
It's hard off the top of your head, like.
Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano.
That was really good. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to really, really, really think about it. I don't know. Some stuff that comes to mind, definitely the New Japan stuff. Omega and Okada, that stuff was unreal.
So good, man.
Cody and Dustin was incredible. It's all pretty recent though. I'm trying to think of like.
That's on the top of my head. It's like all right up front.
I can't remember. Like some of this stuff is probably right outside of the last decade, but like.
Blair Shawn Michaels, that was a good one.
Yeah, that was.
Decade? No, that's more than a decade.
Yeah, I think that was before
2010.
Ring of Honor used to have a lot of really. I mean, like Tyler Black versus Davey Richards, Death Before Honor 8, I want to say it was. That match was like what really re-sparked my interest in indie wrestling. I mean, Kenta Kobashi and Samoa Joe, but that would have been prior to 2010, I think. It's hard to remember, but I don't know if it's Punk versus Cena from Money in the Bank. Kendrick just mentioned that was a great match.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Good shit.
I mean, I'm missing a ton of them, but
It's top of the head. It's not supposed to be.
Yeah, true. One of my favorite matches I've ever seen live was the ladder match at NXT Takeover for the North American title. That was a good match. Yeah, most people came off of that show saying Gargano and Ciampa was the best match of the show, and I understand that was like the best match of the year for a lot of people. But my favorite match of that show is that ladder match, actually. So.
That ladder match was wild. That was such a good takeover. That was literally like the best takeover. And I was supposed to go to the takeover this year, and I'm really upset that I wasn't able to go. I mean, obviously shit happens, but yeah, that was a big bummer.
That was the takeover where I won this belt. Boom.
Yeah.
That was That was from Wrestle Rumble because I won the NXT Takeover contest.
Yeah, do you want to do the Wrestle Rumble thing? If people want to maybe like last minute, maybe, go through our other sponsors and maybe, okay, if you want a free Wrestle Rumble entry, how old do you have to be? What, 18, 21?
I honestly have I've never thought about the age thing because
You have
you know,
to be like,
it's kind of gambling, but it's kind of not.
it's
Really,
well, at least 18. You know what I'm saying?
probably.
It is like you have to be of legal age. So if you are of legal age, just put a comment while we go through our other sponsors right now, and then Steven's gonna pick someone in the chat randomly, and yeah. So go ahead.
Yes. So this is what she's talking about here. One of our sponsors is WrestleRumble.com. I'm going to be giving away one of these free $10 entries for the Money in the Bank Pick'em contest. Basically, it's just going to be a bunch of different questions about Money in the Bank. It'll have to do with like winners and losers and like certain things that could happen in matches and stuff like that.
Really fun.
Yes, and as you can see, the top prize, or the only prize for the Money in the Bank Pick'em contest is $1,000 cash. So that's a lot of money on the line. And you can see here in like the chat, Corey saying he wants an entry, Wusa saying he wants an entry, or he or she, I'm not sure. Just say you want an entry, and I'm gonna.
They want an entry.
What's that?
You gotta use they.
They. Oh, they. Yeah, they, not he or she. But yeah, I'll pick somebody for a free entry before we get off the chat here in just a second. And then there's also the classic Tag Team Championship raffle. Those are $10 entries, and basically that's exactly how it sounds. You can win a replica tag team title, just $10. That drawing is going to be on May 10th, so that's coming up in 5 days. But yeah, I'll probably give away another one of these on Saturday when we do our official predictions. But today, like I said, I'll pick somebody, and that is once again courtesy of WrestleRumble.com. Make sure to stay up to date with all their contests at WrestleRumble. I gotta pull up my brother's Instagram. I'm on MMA on Point. Don't want to show all their stuff. Here we go. So this is my brother Brian Jensen. He helps sponsor the show as well. He's a professional boxing coach, part owner of Steel Boxing and Athletics in Atlanta, Georgia. But more importantly, during this quarantine, and even if you're out and about now, but you don't want to be like in closed quarters with other people at inside a gym and stuff, he's helping people even outside. So he'll meet up with you in person. This is someone doing some mitts in the park, wearing the same shirt I'm wearing right now.
Yeah.
So you can see that. He will also help you over the internet. So, he's helped. This is a Parkinson's class that he helps. And basically, it's exactly how it sounds. Just hit him up on Instagram at BoxingATL, BoxingATL, and he'll help you, learn how to throw hands, get in better shape, whatever the case may be. He's your guy. Just hit him up. Let him know that you heard about him through me and Jesse, and I'm sure he will give you a really, really good deal. So once again, that's Brian Jensen. And then also shout out to Heroes and Legends. I'll just throw that up there again. Heroes and Legends is a professional wrestling memorabilia company. It has like action figures, DVDs, autographs, a whole bunch of stuff. Really good prices, really nice people, and they do live claim sales as well on Facebook. So check them out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at HL Pro Wrestling. Oh, don't want to cut that guy off there. But yeah, check out Heroes and Legends Pro Wrestling. They're the best. They'll give you a good deal. Once again, HL Pro Wrestling on all social media. Jesse, we just got a super chat. If you want.
Yes. Woohoo, Corey, thank you. He said, random thought. Oscar and MVP was gold yesterday. Then again, those are my favorite soundbites. That was great. Yeah, we talked about MVP a little bit. Oscar was great yesterday. I thought she was hilarious and funny, and I loved it. So, yeah, I thought they were both great. Completely agree. Thank you for that, Corey. That was awesome. I really appreciate it, and I know Steven does too.
Yes, I very much appreciate it, and I fully agree with Jesse. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much, Corey, for that. And I do hope they do more with MVP as a manager. I think he's a good fit for that role, for sure.
Yeah. I
And you can
did
still work
send
in the
you
ring.
a random picker generator in the Skype chat.
Just saw it. I'm names in right now.
Okay, so while you do that, um, I'm gonna go ahead. Like I said, if you want an entry, last chance because we're entering the names right now. I'm gonna go through my little plugs here really quick while you do that. Um, So basically, the best way to find me is obviously on Twitter, at Jessie the Buckeye, JESSITHEBUCKEYE. I do also have an OnlyFans. That is the best way to reach me because I don't like going into my Twitter DMs, and I do get a lot of notifications on Twitter and I miss a lot of things. So if you do want to get in touch with me and talk with me after this, after all of these live streams, I always go onto my OnlyFans and I answer all of my DMs. I talk with people. There's some really cool stuff. I don't just talk wrestling in a hoodie. I don't know where that like assumption came from. That is not what my OnlyFans is about. So just go see for yourself what it's about. Onlyfans.com/Jessie the Buckeye, JESSITHEBUCKEYE. I also do have a Papa John's discount code for 5% off your online order. It's JESSI25. You can use that up to 100 times per email address up until December 21st, December 31st, 2020. So please use that. It does help me out. It helps social media companies know that I'm an influence, and it really does help me out. But the best way to help support me is through my OnlyFans, and I do really appreciate that, especially in these trying times. So I do really appreciate it, and that's all I have.
I hope I have everyone in here that asked for an entry. I'm going back through the chat right now the best that I can. I hope I got everyone. If not, I fully apologize, but I can actually show what I have here. I threw Corey Williams. Oh wait, Corey was already on. Oh, there's Corey Hummel and Corey. Was it Corey Williams?
Yeah, Corey Williams. Yeah.
So there's two Corey. Oh, with an E. There we go. Corey Williams and Corey Hummel. So I'll give everyone a couple more seconds here to. If you want an entry for the Wrestle Rumble contest, now's the time. I'm putting the names in here right now, and I'm going to hit the random button or pick a random item button. How this works. And whoever winds up at the top of the list is who the winner is going to be.
Is that how it works?
I think so. I could be wrong. I've seen these before, similar tools where it'll like populate people to the top. It may just give me one name. If that's the case, that's who we'll go with, obviously.
Okay.
And I'll do something on the next stream too, where like, it wouldn't be fair to do right now because I didn't advertise it at all. But maybe on the next stream, I'll do something where if you send any amount of super chat, you'll get multiple. I'll put
Yeah, an extra entry. Yeah.
Yeah.
We won't do that now, but.
Right. Yeah. Too late now because it wouldn't be fair. But like Corey Williams, I went ahead and just. I don't think you asked for an entry, but I threw you on here because you sent a super chat anyway, so I just went and threw you on.
Yeah.
All right. I'm getting the button right now. Let's see who wins a Wrestle Rumble entry.
Is that who it is?
The winner is.
Oh, it's thinking.
JGZ.
Wait.
Did it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yay.
It populated a name right here. So JGZ, congratulations. I'm not sure what your Twitter handle is because that's going to be where I'm going to. I'll send you the information because I'm going to need to get your email address, and I don't want you sending it in here because for one, I don't want it out there, and for two, I'll probably lose it in here. So, make sure if you're on Twitter that you're following me. Make sure you're at least following Jessie at the very least. But if you're following me as well, I'll direct message you the information that I need to get you this entry. So once again, congratulations, JGZ, and my Twitter handle is FightTalk_. So like I said, maybe just shoot me even if you don't follow me or whatever, just shoot me, like, mention me on Twitter in some way, shape, or form, just like Wrestle Rumble or just say hi or something so that I know that it's you, and then I'll direct message you and I'll get you that entry. And he says it's the same as it is here, so that should be really easy for me to find. So
Yay!
Good deal.
Congratulations! Thanks everyone for entering too.
Yes.
Thank you for all the contestants. This is your verbal participation trophy. Thank you.
Perfect. Yes. Thank you, everybody. That's all I've got. So once again, we plan on being back here on Saturday to do official predictions for WWE Money in the Bank. Probably around the same time. It'll have to be about the same time because I've got UFC that night. So.
That's right. Okay.
But we will. We'll plan on doing that on Saturday for everybody. So I hope everyone has a great day. Jess, do you have anything before we get out of here?
Nope. Thank you so much, everyone. Be nice. Be sweet. Be super cool. And we'll see you later.
See ya.
Bye.